What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to Paul Blumberg for the donation to the channel via the PayPal. And he leaves a message saying, supporting your channel, bro. Keep sharing the truth. Thank you, brother, for your donation. I want to thank thank you for spending time to send that warm message. And I wish you and everybody who celebrates Thanksgiving a very, very happy Thanksgiving. To those of you who don't, well, just enjoy the day at the very least. All right, so let's talk about this. Shout out to my boy 70 Sports TV because he pointed this out to me. The absurdity in this situation. And then when you look at the history, you start connecting the dots. I mean, it could very well be that these are just terrible, coincidental accidents that keep happening to comedian Jay Leno, the former Tonight Show host. But hear me out. All right. So Jay Leno, you may have heard about a week ago or so, reportedly got a black eye after, quote, tumbling down the hill in a nasty fall. So, article from Yahoo Entertainment says Jay Leno is choosing to make lemonade out of lemons following his nasty fall. The comedian showed up on stage with an eye patch to cover up his scars sustained after he slipped and fell on his way to grab food. Jay Leno's latest injury adds to a series of near-death experiences he has suffered in the past, including shattering bones in a motorcycle crash and suffering third-degree burns in a car fire in his famous garage. Now, with his latest incident, he was staying at a Holiday Inn, was it? What hotel was he staying at? He was staying at some cheap-ass hotel that a man that's worth $450 million, as Jay Leno is reported to be worth, seems really far-fetched, okay? So supposedly he was staying at this hotel. I can't remember which one it was, Holiday Inn. One of these hotels that are very attainable for us, you know what I'm saying, regular folks. So he's staying at this cheap-ass hotel he claims to be staying at. And then there's this restaurant that has this delicious chicken, what is it? What do you call that dish? Not chicken cacciatore. The hell you call it, man? Chicken parmesan. You see this here? It's this hotel that has this unbelievable, delicious chicken parmesan that he claims that he can't resist. So he's going to this restaurant and he tumbles down this hill, he claims, and in this tumble, as you see in this image here, he suffers extensive bruising on the left side of his face and on the left side of his body, right? And then he goes in there and sits down, and despite the fact that he obviously is in need of medical assistance, he just sits down and eats. After he finished eating, then he goes to this scheduled comedy appearance, bruised up with the eye patch, I guess, right? You know, when you see an image of the hill that he supposedly fell down, right? It doesn't look like that type of injury would occur. There's no rocks. Doesn't seem like the hill is that steep to me. Look, I get it if he fell and hit his knee or something, or even if you talk about him falling and the impact. It's just hard for me to see how he sustains this type of injury from reportedly that fall. But what really makes this suspicious is the pattern here. The pattern here is these bizarre, once in a lifetime, if that, injuries occurring back to back to back. You know, that's where it really gets murky with this dude. So you may remember, like 2 years ago maybe, he suffers this horrible these horrible injuries from some car fire. I think he was working on his car, and then something happened where there was an explosion or something, and he catches on fire, and he gets all these goddamn burns. He gets second-degree burns, and I'm not laughing at the injury. It's not funny, but he gets these horrible burns, and it's talked about on TV. And that's another thing. It's every time he has these injuries or these incidences, he makes sure to go to the media so that there's a official story for what happened. Well, see, you know, I was looking at my car, see, I'm working and tinkering, and all of a sudden there's a big explosion. Yeah, I'm burning. I'm like, oh God, someone come help me, I'm talking to Mavis, and Mavis got a little confused. I had to stagger out the garage, and then people came, and then that's what happened. Yeah, it's like he trying to give an official story to cover his ass or something every time. I don't know. It just seems like any other time Jay Leno keeps a low profile ever since he stopped being the host of Tonight Show. But he makes sure he's out in front and center to give an official story for each one of these accidents. Then, 5 months after the horrific fire in which he suffers second-degree burns, right? He gets to a motorcycle accident where amongst the injuries that he suffers are broken ribs and broken kneecaps. Then there's this. Remember, Jay Leno is, what is he, 74? So Jay Leno is from Boston. And I don't want to sound stereotypical, but Jay is Italian. Okay? Jay came into the game right when the mob still had a lot of influence in the entertainment industry. Okay? And Jay definitely has, to a certain degree, at the very least, mob ties. Okay? He's talked about this in the past.
Yeah, anyway, so these two guys, me say, Mr. Lenos is this is Rocco, this is, well, okay. And my wife is like, oh, these guys are scary, so not to worry about it. So we're in the backseat of this Cadillac, So I'm teasing my wife, and I just kind of whispered her. I didn't think the guys could hear me. I said, and if I go into the city tonight, I think I'm going to need a piece. And this guy goes, oh, Mr. Leno, please. He takes a gun out. He throws it in the bag. He goes, please take that one. I said, no, I was like, no, please. There's no numbers on it. Just, you don't need to do nothing with it. When you're through, just throw it in the trash. If you don't use it, you just throw it away. I said, no, please, I insist. Okay, thank you. Now I got this gun, and my wife is just like sweating bullets. She's like, where? What have you got me into? Where are we here? I mean, it worked out okay, but it was just funny, just odd.
Then there's this.
Last time you were here, you told me probably the craziest Vegas story I've ever heard. It was so depressing and funny. Was a kangaroo fighting a...
Oh, yeah, the kangaroo fight. That's right.
That was the best of it. But then I didn't get to talk to you about, like different, I'm not saying the mafia had anything to do with it.
No, you love the mob story.
I really do.
See, now it's all... See, in the old days, they would just break your legs. Now they take your 401k. It's different. It's different.
It's trickier now, yeah.
It's trickier now. You lose everything. But in the old days, when I worked towards a club in Boston, and I go out on stage, I'm on stage, and there's a ruckus. What's going on there? Everything okay? And they hear, and I go, what's going on? I go, Mr. Lenos, just a disruptive customer, Mr. Lenos, no problem. Mr. Lenos.
Excuse me.
It's fine. Okay, it's okay. So I finish the show, and I find out what happened. I said, well, Billy Billy the bouncer, he seats this guy in front of a pole. The guy doesn't like his seat. So he starts complaining. So Billy takes a knife out, stabs the guy in the leg. And then gives him $20 and puts him in a cab and tells him to get lost. So I find all this out after the fact. Fine. All right, fine. I'm only here for the weekend. Fine. 6 months later, I get a call. Hey, Jay. Tony. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Listen, remember Billy? Remember Billy Bouncer, the guy that helped you? What do you mean he helped me? Remember the guy was making noise in the club and Billy helped him? He didn't help me, he stabbed the guy. He goes, yeah, but that helped you, right? I mean, you got to shut up. And I said, well, what do you want? He goes, well, Billy killed a guy and now the cops are hassling him. You know? And I said, gee, you think the cops would go after real criminals instead of picking on guys like Billy? And this guy goes, you tell me about it. I said, I can't help you. He stabbed the guy. Well, he helped you. He didn't help me. He stabbed the guy.
He helped you out. I'll never forget that.
He did you a solid, man.
You a solid. You owe him forever.
You won't want to help him. Now he's in prison for stabbing the guy.
Look, you know, I'm just saying, man, you know, I don't know whether it's, I mean, look, it was always these long-standing rumors that, you know, Jay was a guy that was very frugal, right? He said he never spent any of his not YouTube, Jesus Christ. I'm on this fucking thing too much, man. He never spent any of his Tonight Show money. And he just basically lived off of his, the money that he earned while performing, which wasn't bad, but he was making $30 million a year at one point on his Tonight Show. So you can kind of a little bit think, well, all right, if he's staying in this shitty ass hotel, maybe it got something to do with the fact he lives way beneath it. But you gotta look at all of this other shit that's going on, man. I don't know, man. It's shaking. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, I think he does have a history of, like, one of the things that people say he loves, like, to gamble. So, you know, is it that he, you know, has gambling? Because look, you could be worth $450 million. That don't mean that you have $450 million. You know, maybe he owes millions. I don't know. I mean, he's been retired for a long time. Maybe he owes a shitload of money to the wrong people. Mr. Leno, we are here to call a payment. Well, I mean, you know, look, I'm trying my best to get this guy to get the money, and you know, I'm just doing really good. You know, I've just got a couple more gigs, and we're not like to hear the bullshit, Leno. Well, he's just $10 million with interest. I'm trying my best. You know, I'm trying to make the same scratch. You know what? You're over the hill, Leno. What does that mean? You're over the hill. Push him. No! Ah! Oh, Lord. Oh. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, man. But y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Y'all think that Jay Leno is getting the shit kicked out of him by mob members, or some criminal element, you know, and he's just being harassed, and you know, you think that's what it is? In trouble with bookies and shit. Y'all think that's what it is? You know, I mean, it's plausible. So we'll know if it's another mysterious and fantastical injury that he suffers in the next 3 to 4 months, you know, some other bullshit. Jay Leno, former Tonight Show host, was injured in a drive-by collision. The 74-year-old comedian, was crossing the street. When you see here, he was blindsided and then hit by some swerving car with a man with what appears to be a 300-pound man in a tracksuit. The man seems to be yelling at Leno, it's not quite audible, but it sounds as though he says, you got 6 months to give us our money. What do you think of that? Oh, Gene, I think this is just a typical, rage situation where some driver just hit poor Jay and, so you don't think it could be something else? No, I just think it was innocuous. It just, yeah, that's what it was, Jay Leno shows off the bruise on his hip. Like, come on, man. Like, at some point, we got to call it what it is, man. Anyway, tell what you guys.